Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to my channel. My name's Marissa and today I'm going to be doing my final March 2021 wrap up. So in the month of March I did end up reading 9 books total, which again is not on the high end for me, but it's still kind of in the middle there. So let's get into the books that I read in the second half of March. So the first one was The Lost Apothecary by Sarah Penner, and this book is all about following 2 timelines. One timeline is the present day, and it's about this woman who finds out her husband cheated on her, and she takes their anniversary trip to the UK by herself. Well, the first day there, she ends up finding this bottle in the on the banks of the River Thames, and she ends up starting to do a lot of this research into it. Well, the second timeline that you're seeing is this apothecary from, I don't know, 1700s, 1800s, something like that, and she deals out poisons, and you find out it's because she has this mysterious, horrible past where she was betrayed by men, so she is dealing these poisons out to these women who want to kill men in their lives. So you're following both of these timelines, and they never really, I mean, they do kind of intersect at the end, but I mean, you understand why it's from two different timelines. I did think the book was really fast-paced. It was a very short book. My only complaint about this was that I ended up buying it at Barnes & Noble. It was $27 for like a 270-page book. It was quite ridiculously priced, if you ask me. Honestly, I should have just bought it from Book of the Month, and then I would have got it for a lot cheaper. Okay. So the next book that I ended up reading was The 10,000 Doors of January by Alix E. Harrow, and this book is basically about this girl who is living in this rich man's house, and she's basically his ward because her father works for this rich man and he is off in other countries finding artifacts and bringing them back for this guy to sell or keep or do whatever with. So one day she ends up wandering on one of the trips that her and this rich guy take, and she ends up finding a door which leads to a whole nother world. Well, when she comes back out of this door, the rich guy is there, and he basically takes her diary from her, burns it, and burns the door down, and then he keeps her locked up in his house for quite a while. So she is deeply, deeply unhappy, and then at some point she ends up coming across this book that is talking about doors to other worlds, and she gets sucked into this story because obviously she experienced something like this. So I really can't give too much more of the plot away without kind of spoiling it for you, but there is a huge love story wrapped up in here. There's also a lot of loss and, you know, found family and finding your own family after a long time. So it's a very interesting book. I really wasn't 100% invested in it. I wanted more of her visiting these other worlds and getting sucked into them and learning more about them. We just got kind of like the briefest overview of that, and I just wanted more of that part rather than the whole love story, family story kind of thing. So it wasn't what I was expecting, but it was still a decent book. So the next book that I ended up reading was Never Fade by Alexandra Bracken, which is book 2 in the Darkest Minds series, and that book is still following the same main characters. This series is set in a dystopian world where at the age of 10 all these kids either die or they end up developing these magical powers, and then the government becomes scared of them and ends up putting them all in basically concentration camps. So all these kids that are, you know, have these eerie, weird powers are in all these concentration camps, and they're getting treated like crap. And the group that we're following has broken out of these camps somehow, and they are kind of stuck between the government and then this group called the Children's Liberation Front, or Children's Liberation Movement, I can't remember which. Anyway, so it's basically supposed to be a children's league that is supposed to be helping kids, and they find out that the group is not really what it says it's supposed to be. So they're kind of stuck between 2 of these bad groups. So book 2 follows still more of the story. They seem to be pretty fast-paced. They're set in a very short period of time. So taking all these books together, I would assume that this all happens in less than a year or so, because honestly, they seem like they're moving pretty fast. But so far I am reading book 3 at the moment, and I do still like it. The farther along it gets in the series, the less people rated it on Goodreads, so I'm actually really interested to see if that ends up true for me as well. So the last and final book that I ended up reading in the month of March was actually a reread for me, or I should say a re-listen, because I listened to this in audiobook, and it was A Red Seas Under Red Skies by Scott Lynch. This is the second book in the Lies of Locke series, and I like this just as much as I did the first time that I listened to it. This one I love. It's very piratey. They end up on this ship and they end up being pirates, and I love the parts of the book that are actually set on this pirate ship, but I didn't realize how much other stuff is in there. Like, there's so much of the book, like, before they end up getting on this pirate ship and then after, that it's just like, I just forgot how little of it was actually on the pirate ship, and that was the part that I really enjoyed. Of course, you know, I love Locke and John, so I will listen to them do whatever, you know, brush their hair, pick their teeth, you know, whatever. Anyway, so yeah, this was a reread for me. Still enjoyed it as much as I did the first time. So yeah, anyway, before I end this video, I'm going to go ahead and show you all of my stats on the story graph. And again, this is a really cool website. I like it much better than Goodreads. I stopped using Goodreads at least 3-4 months ago. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and show you that. So here is my story graph page. As you can see, I've obviously read 9 books total in the month of March, and as far as the moods go, most of them were adventurous, mysterious, and funny, with the next runner-up being emotional, and then all these other moods coming behind that. And again, this is all based on what I rated these books as far as the moods go, not necessarily what others rated those books as. So obviously I tend to think a lot of books are adventurous. So the next one is fast-paced and medium-paced. So obviously medium-paced is the majority of my reads, and with fast-paced coming in second. I did not read any slow-paced books because slow-paced books tend to bore the crap out of me. So yeah, there is that. And then the page number. So between, well, less than 300 pages. Is there any? No, there's none less than 300 pages. So between 300 and 499 was the majority of my reads this month. And then 500 plus did come in second. There's no other way to say that, I guess. So there's only 3. And then, of course, completely fiction, not nonfiction. And then as far as the genres, of course, the majority was fantasy, then historical, young adult, romance, thriller, mystery, contemporary. These ones, I did not rate the books as these genres. That's just what they're described as for some reason on here. So I don't know where they get that information, to be perfectly honest. And then as far as star ratings go, my average rating was 4.22, which means it was a pretty good reading month. So 3.25 was 1 book, 3.75 was 2 books, 4.25 was 2 books, 4.5 was 1 book, and 5 stars was 2 different books. So that is all I have for the stats today. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed my little wrap-up video for today. Comment down below, tell me what you guys read in this month. What was your favorite book? What was your least favorite book? Did you do any rereading? So that is all I have for you guys today, and I will see you in my next video. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for watching my video. I upload every Wednesday and Saturday, and I would really love it if you would like, comment, and subscribe my videos. Have a great day.